Could you explain for people the difference between like being an insurance broker and like other models?
Yeah, so a broker simply means we have access to tons of insurance companies that we could put you with. Mm-hmm. So what's nice about that is Dan Inman sends me his information. I type it all in, all the details. I send it out to, let's say, 20 different companies. Mm-hmm. They all come back to me with a rate. I can kind of pick and choose, all right, based on coverage, based on what Dan wants, and based on price. Hey, I'm going to send Dan the top 2 that I find.
Right.
So it can be helpful in that I'm not a State Farm agent. Mm-hmm. State Farm, even though, again, great company, there's a reason they're the biggest insurance agency in the world.
Sure.
They have one price they give you. Mm-hmm. They can only go one place, and that's State Farm's rate.
Sure.
Same with the USAA.
Sure.
So
we've seen it with Rachel in the loan world, is that working with direct or local lenders who are borrowing from their own pool of money, there are benefits to that. There are pros and cons of every business model that's available. But I would say right now in this environment, the broker model, especially in the loan world, is it's very difficult to beat. Yeah. Because their efficiencies, their economies of scale, the way that they're set up, this environment that we're in right now, they're thriving like really, really well.
Yeah.
And so these direct lenders and other models sometimes have a very difficult job, if anything, because people tend to be very rate conscious, especially in a rising interest rate market. Yeah. It's hard to beat her. Yeah. Very difficult. And Rachel's customer service is so good. She's in the other room. Rachel comes from the hotel industry, and so this idea of like they had, I forget the name of the rule, but they would effectively, if you could make eye contact with somebody, you always smile and say, hey. Yeah. If they're within a certain period, you ask them how they're doing. If there's anything you can do you can do to help them out in their day. And it was this extreme emphasis on like customer service, making sure that they're getting the highest quality or highest level of service possible.
Rachel wants to be the best. Yeah, she doesn't want to give the second best rate, probably.
Sure.
Knowing her.
I mean, that's kind of our model together. Part of the reasons that we're in business together, and I would say probably similar, the reasons that we liked you guys is I don't want to be the cheapest. Seth Godin, who, if you know anything about like marketing world, he's one of the greatest of all time in the marketing world. And he calls it the race to the bottom. Right. And so if you're trying to compete with Walmart on prices, like Walmart's going to win. They've been doing it for so long. Their economies of scale are so big that you can't beat them. It is very, very difficult to enter into that space and win. Yeah. So I'd much rather compete on like, hey, be competitive, but we're going to beat them on customer service. We're going to beat them on like making it easy, like making the process smooth all day long.